You're watching YanaTV.
Hi, my name is Yana and you are watching YanaTV. And today we have an incredible guest, Alexi Panos, and she just delivered a superb speech at Women of Wealth and Abundance.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alexi. And Alexi is a philanthropist. She's an author and a thought leader. So, Alexi, thank you so much for being with us here today. It's amazing.
Honored. I love being in Singapore. I love being here with you. Honestly, the conference has been amazing. So I feel completely honored to be here.
Oh, well, pleasure is all mine. And after listening now, you talking for what it is, 45 minutes, I feel like I really know you. But our audience doesn't. So,
surprise.
Exactly. So, surprise. What I really would like you to do right now is to share with us your story. Because I know that there was quite of a journey to where you started your life and where you are today. So please share with us, where did it all begin?
Sure. Well, I was 15 years old when I entered a singing contest on a dare. And I was never a good singer, but I always loved to perform. And my sister's friend dared me to do it. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. Sure enough, the universe played a hilarious joke on me.
It always does.
And gave me a record contract.
Oh my God.
So here I was at 15 working with this massive producer, and that turned into me traveling the world with Ja Rule for 2 years, from 18 to 20 years old. And it was this incredible life of partying and excess and money and fame, and they were basically breeding me to be the next Ashanti. So
you have basically everything, for that.
It was crazy though, because here I was living this life that I should have loved, right? Society tells us we should want the fame, we should want the fortune, we should want the respect, we should want, to climb the ladder and to make it. And I felt like a fraud because I never wanted to truly be a singer. And it didn't truly hit me until our last stop on tour in Africa. And I was about 19 and a half at the time in Cape Town. And we had played a show, gone to the after party, spent a bunch of money on champagne, came back to get on the tour bus, and it was as if my entire world stopped. Here's the tour bus, and then here's a shantytown. And there was a $3,000 receipt in my pocket that literally was burning a hole in my pocket. Like, what could I have spent that money on? I could have made a difference to these people who are living in poverty or living below their means, and here I am spending money on champagne for what? For what? It just felt so empty. I felt like a fraud. I felt like I was taking from the world and not actually contributing with my life. And in that moment, I decided things needed to change. And I wasn't sure how yet, but I came back to New York where I was living at the time and just decided that I had to stop. And I pulled out of the music industry. My album was about to come out. All this stuff was about to happen. All this press was happening. And I just said, enough. I can't do this.
That takes a lot of courage.
It was humiliating. It was scary. And I walked away from a big promise. I walked away from this promise of fame and fortune and wealth and abundance, thinking that that was the only way I could get it at that time. But sure enough, I started all over, started from scratch, got a bartending job, met my friend. And Tennille and I connected instantly on so many things. And she's a musician as well, so we instantly connected on music. But we connected on wanting to give back and wanting to contribute and wanting to make a difference and wanting to do something with our lives. But we didn't think we had the know-how, the time, the tools, the money, the fame, any of that to actually do it. So we just kind of sat on our good idea for years. And then one day we're playing cards and the story of this woman comes on the camera on TV, and the BBC interviews her, and she's a school teacher. She read a story about a village in Africa. She got inspired and raised $300,000 for this community and single-handedly changed the entire community. And in my mind, I'm like, well, if she can do it, we can do it. Why not, right? She's not famous. She's not anyone that we know, and she just made it happen. So that changed everything, and it gave us permission to start a nonprofit, so we did. We started our nonprofit EPIC, which stands for Everyday People Initiating Change.
That's a great name, by the way. I mean, it's a superb name.
Yeah, we totally downloaded it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to say.
Yeah, it came from heaven. It was so divine. And we began our work in Africa, and we started drilling clean water wells and doing all this amazing work. And here I am in my 20s doing all this amazing work. And then I get into entertainment. I'm hosting a TV show. I'm modeling with all these top designers. I'm making all this money, buying my own place in New York City. I felt like I was on top of the world in some sense.
Again?
Yeah, again.
Second time.
Second time, but I felt empty. And here I was going, okay, I thought it was the contribution that was missing, but I'm doing the nonprofit work. So what's up? Like, am I never going to be satisfied? Am I never going to find that happiness and joy? And I faced off with that question in Africa on one of our trips. And here we were. We had just drilled our 5th well. And the women were out and they're celebrating and they're singing and dancing and they're coming up to us and just thanking us in Swahili, and tears are pouring out of their eyes. And I look at my partner and she's crying, and it was like a super emotional moment, and I felt none of it. I was completely shut down and closed off, and I got jealous of her emotion in the moment, but I took that home and I looked at all over my life, and I recognized that I wasn't feeling any of my life. Like, I was separate from my family, I was separate from my work colleagues, I was separate from the people who loved me, I was separate from my friends. I just had this massive wall up. So I went to work on figuring out what was behind the wall and why I built it. Sure enough, I discovered a story that I had just buried since I was 20 for 6 years. When I was 20 years old, I was raped and sexually assaulted by a man who I have no idea who he is. Right after it happened, I didn't call the police, I didn't call my friends, I didn't cry, I didn't experience it at all. I stuffed it down, and I took a shower and went to work. Stuffed it down. And for me, I recognized that that's why I built the wall. Because my whole mentality was, I've just got to get stuff done. And if I feel this, if I actually experience the pain of what I just went through, it's going to ruin me. It was scary. It was totally scary. But I knew in that moment when I was 26, when I figured this out and uncovered this, that I had to experience it. I had to deal with it because I was sick of not experiencing life. Like, here I was doing all these amazing things, and I'm just cut off emotionally from it. So I started sharing my story. I shared it with a girlfriend of mine. And that was the moment we truly connected and became friends, and a light bulb went off. Like, oh, I've been looking for connection. I've been looking for love. I've been looking to really connect with human beings, but I wasn't showing up fully as myself. So how could I ever truly connect with people if I'm not truly being myself? And I got addicted to that feeling of deep connection. I started just sharing myself everywhere. I'm like, here's who I am. Here's what I'm up to. Here's what I love. Here's what I'm afraid of. And it was so empowering because I had nothing to hide from. I had nothing to run from anymore.
Yeah.
It was freeing. It was liberating. It was like, oh my gosh, it was powerful. And it's so interesting because the results of my life completely shifted. Not only was I massively successful, but I was massively successful in the career I'm doing now. Because entertainment I was no longer trying to prove anything.
Yeah.
So I was just doing what my heart needed to do. I was following my heart, and it was leading me in the perfect direction. And my nonprofit work just exploded. My happiness, my joy, my gratitude, my love. I mean, my capacity for experiencing life just exploded. And it was the most amazing thing. And quite honestly, I didn't know I could experience life on that level. I just didn't even know it was possible. But I really got that when we stand in the courage of who we truly are and own it, all of it, the messy stuff, the pretty stuff, the ugly stuff, the scary stuff, the beautiful stuff, all of it is when we actually connect with people. And that's all we want. At the end of the day, all we want, every single human being on this planet wants to be seen. They want to be loved. They want to be heard. They want to connect. And I was sitting here hiding from connection because I thought that would keep me safe. And I could love people, but just enough. I could do this, but then do this. But I was missing what life is. Like, now I'm experiencing life. I experience all of it, and it's magical. It's so good.
Thank you so much for sharing. I mean, I feel like I'm about to cry. You know, it's really... Thank you. It's very, very powerful, the story that you went through, and that you are doing this work right now. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, I know that there are women out there who might have gone through something similar you went through, or maybe something else. Yeah. Maybe there are some experiences where they felt ashamed, embarrassed, scared, less person,
Yeah.
you know, and that they what you did, they stuck it up,
Stuff it, yeah.
and then they live for years and they don't understand, well, nothing is working out in their life.
Yes.
So given that who you are today and all the work you have done on yourself, if you could give an advice to women who are out there, who are maybe still going and maybe they just start realizing that they have to work on that. So what would be maybe an easier way, and is there any easier way, you know, to go about it? So how do you heal yourself?
The only way out is through. And so while it's not always easy, it's necessary if we want to really embrace all of life. And through my work and my workshops, I work with women all over the world who have been through some incredibly terrible stuff, men as well. And the problem is we're not talking about it. So it perpetuates the cycle.
Yeah.
The people who don't talk about it are hurting. So hurt people. And then we're hurtful or angry towards our kids or our loved ones because we've got all this emotion in us. So we've got to process that. And I'll say this, I believe every single thing that we've been through as human beings is meant for us. And some people don't like hearing that, but I believe everything's a gift. My rape was a gift. And while it wasn't beautiful in the moment, it was one of those terrible, horrifying things in the moment, I would not be able to do the work I'm doing right now with other people all around the world without that. Because I wouldn't have understood what compassion is. I wouldn't have understood empathy and being with people. I wouldn't have understood forgiveness. Because I've forgiven that man. Because I get now that he was someone who was hurting. He was. To do that to another person, another human, he's hurting. What must he have been through as a child? So for women who have been through something, or men who have been through something, know that A, you're not alone. I work with people all over the world and we do a process, and every single person gets into the circle and shares something that's traumatic. So 1, you're not alone. 2, you get to talk about it. You do. I believe our message, our wounds are our wisdom. It's the thing that makes us unique. It's the thing that connects us. I shared on the stage my story. How many women came up afterwards and told me their story? It's the thing that connects us. And it could have been scary. I could have hid behind it. But the minute I said it, it gave women permission to come and say it to me. So know that that's powerful. Whatever you've been through is so powerful, and it's your gift if you choose to see it that way.
Thank you. Thank you. You're truly a gift to the world yourself. So, Alexi, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was Alexi on YanaTV, and as you can see, she is one of the most incredibly heart-centered and authentic people I personally have ever met. So for every one of you out there, if you're going through a tough time right now, or if you have been through a tough time, and maybe if there is something you want to look at in your life, there is some conversation you want to have with people to forgive yourself and to heal yourself, do it right now. And we're finishing up for today. We are going to talk to you next week. So do connect with us on social media, share this video with friends, and we talk to you soon.
Success happens on a daily basis. You know, Aristotle, what's the Aristotle quote? We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, therefore, is not an act, but a habit. So for me, it became about how do I switch my habits? How do I create a world within myself where my habits are lined up with my thoughts and my words? And that was not easy, but as they start to build on themselves, you know, what we appreciate appreciates. So the biggest thing for anybody who are looking to change their lives is start looking for the ways in which you are already doing beautiful work.